Good morning. Today we are presenting the module 5 of the course on harnessing the geospatial knowledge system to enable the implementation of AF-CFTA. The module deals with the implementation of national geospatial data infrastructure. In the previous module, we have stressed the importance of the geospatial information for implementing the SDG agenda. We have presented the overarching strategic framework for IGF, presented the guide for the implementation with its 9 strategic pathway, and examined the use of these tools and instruments to design the country implementation plan. In the 4th module, we have make reference to the use of this plan for the design of a geospatial strategy. And in this module, we will concentrate on the use of this plan for the implementation of national geospatial data infrastructure with 2 meanings. It can be to start a new implementation or to review existing national data infrastructure to improve it according to the evolution of the technology and the society, the economy at national level. We will call the link between the 9 strategic pathway and the national spatial data infrastructure and the data team linked to it, geodetic elevation, cadastral, population infrastructure, etc. And also we take in consideration the SDI evolution. The technology has evolved from the file transfer, passing through clearinghouse, centralizing geo information systems, the development of GIS portal, the geo portal, and now the architectural services on the cloud with the software as service, with software online, etc. The national spatial data infrastructure is implemented to respond to societal needs, government priorities, to the national policies and strategies. And for this, we need appropriate national legislation and to take in consideration what also is available at the international arena, the international arena. The data team, high quality, timely, and reliable data is the characteristic of the national spatial data infrastructure. with thematic data, social, poverty, education, health, etc., economic, well-being, GDP, cities, water, energy, infrastructure, environmental, water, land use, ecosystems, forests, etc. And the SDGs. All these things are linked. And for this, we have here the component of the NSDI, the technology, web portal, JS Data Services, clearinghouse, supporting the metadata. The metadata is very important to retrieve the geospatial data that we are looking for. And the various data supported by standards, international standards, developed by OGC, the organization dealing with standards, geospatial standards, ISO, and the partnership and the organization. All this put together. What are the current
Allô?
Oui, M. Diop.
C'est parti depuis le slider 6.
6. Donc, je reviens à 6. Donc, ça n'a pas été enregistré le 6. Hein?
En fait, ça coupe en fait. Je vous entends la voix, j'ai perdu la voix à partir du slider 6.
D'accord, ok. Donc, je reprends le slider 6, à partir du slider 6.
Okay. Il faut partager l'écran.
D'accord.
Plus sûr, pour être plus sûr, est-ce que vous pouvez reprendre à partir du slider 5?
D'accord, ok.
Parce que là, on va commencer à scanner à partir du slider 5.
À partir d'ici, hein?
Ok, c'est bon, à partir d'ici. C'est bon, vous pouvez continuer.
Ok. Okay, in this slide, we have the national spatial data infrastructure with the various data team, with high quality, timely, and reliable data, with localization, geodetic elevation, water, land, transport, etc. We have social data on the poverty, disparity, regional disparities, education, health, population, employment. We have economic data, water, energy, infrastructure, industry, etc. We have physical, environmental data, land use, ecosystem, forest, agriculture, biodiversity, etc. And all this linked to the SDGs, the Agenda 2013, and the African Union Agenda 2063. The component of the UNSDI, it's referred to the 9 pathway, but organized in another manner. We have the clearinghouse, the web portal, GS data service for the diffusion, stockage of the data. We have a metadata that allow to retrieve the data, geospatial data that we are looking for. And the thematic data and spatial data that we have just presented before, based on international standards, OGC and ISO, and partnership and cooperation between organizations. We are here, the technology, the policy, and people that has been presented in IGF. The modern NSDI is characterized by the openness of the data. The data is not only collected by the government, but also the private sector and other organizations are contributing. The data is coming from various sources: satellite imagery, census, area survey, etc., etc. Our work is based on standards for the data, for the interface, for the API applications, for the processing. All this has to follow the international standards. We are looking for the sustainability of the process. We are looking for return of investment. That means that we are looking to the impact, economic impact, and financing of this infrastructure. We are looking to the integration of the geosystems with other information systems in the organizations to allow the possibility of spatial analysis. If we don't have this integration, it will be difficult. You have to make really this integration possible to allow easy process, easy using of the tools of spatial analysis on the data that we are collecting in various departments. The architecture has changed. We are mainly in the cloud with web services, but with this also a link to some issue of security of the data of the system, of national security, which data can be open and data that you have specific permission to access it, etc. All these things has to be taken into account. And the methodology for the implementation of NSDI is identical to the one presented for the country action plan. The baseline assessment, the impact assessment with linkage to various national lead strategies and plan. What are their needs on geospatial? And the investment and implementation with structure of projects, well known, with accountability, responsibility. This is important. The monitor and the monitoring and evaluation is an important aspect of the implementation of NSDI. And there is tentatives to have some country geospatial readiness index. This is just an example developed by a private firm to show you the approach and the methodology for designing these indices. For this index, we have 4 pillars. The pillar 1 is geospatial infrastructure and policy framework. Pillar 2, institutional capacity. Pillar 3, the user adoption level. And the pillar 5, the industrial capacity. This slide presents for each pillar, each component. Geospatial infrastructure, for example, you have the data infrastructure, the positioning infrastructure, the platform and portal, open and linked data, and policy framework, etc. etc. You will have the opportunity to have the document where this approach is presented. And as the case in this module, we're referring to an NSDI diagnostic tool developed with World Bank and used in Central and East Europe. We will examine how this tool has been used and which conclusion can be derived from this exercise. An important element is ECA for many years was engaged in GEO since the Cartographic Commission in the 16th. And recently, 2010, 2020, the end of 2020, and the 6th UNGGM Africa presented a guide for NSDI implementation. The step of the process presented in the guide is similar to the one presented in IGF, to look at the current status and review, policy development aligned with national priorities, strategic plan, and step 4, the strategy implementation. The guide is available, and we will examine its contents. And for the evaluation methodology, the guide is referring to an assessment methodology, just to compare with the one presented on country geospatial readiness index. We have here 4 level 1, non-existent or ad hoc, not coordinated. Level 2 is informal. The level 3 is formal. There is some documentation of the process. The level 4 is managed, documented, measured, and analyzed. And the level 5, optimized, with the reference to all the components we have presented in the IGF. And just to give you comparison between the country geospatial resilience index and what is done by ECA. ECA is diffusing periodically 2-year questionnaire to the countries to monitor the implementation of the NSDI, and just to show you that there is difference in the ranking in the countries. It's normal because the methodology and approach and the indicator are not the same. And to be sure that things are evolving and the methodology and approach are also evolving. And what is important at national level is for the stakeholder to meet and to have agreement on the approach, the component, the indicator, etc. The socioeconomic impact is very important. We will have a case study to see how NSDI are impacting economically, what benefits we can have, and we have a socioeconomic impact on Catalonia, very detailed study, and we'll see how we can extract some conclusion from this study. We have also examples on NSDI from various parts of the world. And this an example from Indonesia has looked to the problem of NSDI implementation, the data issues, institutional issues, technical issues, human issues, all the issues that the NSDI is supposed to overcome are treated here. This means that really when we implement NSDI is to solve problem, but if it has been done in a bad manner, we will have problem to solve within NSDI implementation. Namibia is very interesting case from Africa because the country has a Statistics Act since 2011 in NSDI policy 2015 and the strategic plan 2015-2020. The institutional arrangement in Namibia are very interesting to examine, to see, because it's one of the countries where the Secretariat of NSDI is within the National Statistical Institution, not the mapping agency. Example from a regional SDI, inspired the European one. We have legislation at regional level, and we have at national level focal points. For example, in France, it's the CNIC, the National Commission for Geographic Information. This is what I referred to in Namibia, the Secretariat for the NSDI, and the role of this Secretariat is very important. And with this study case, we finish the module 5 of this course. Thank you very much.